من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Peace and blessings to all of our respective viewers. Thank you for your presence this Wednesday evening. Welcome to Ahlebait TV. This is the question time show with Sayyid Muhammad and Musawi, inshallah. Thank you for the questions that we have so far. Please keep the questions coming in. The number should be appearing on your screens, and if you would like to call in as well, that gives you the opportunity to inshallah speak to our esteemed Islamic scholar directly. And on that note, I'd like to welcome His Eminence Sayyid Muhammad al-Musri on behalf of all of our viewers. Sayyidina, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Muslims who are living among non-Muslims have got their experience in dealing with non-Muslims, because many of the non-Muslims, they don't know about Islam. That's why they stand some negatively in some way, just because of their ignorance about Islam. So we should not blame them. We should first do our best to make them know the important information about Islam should be spread among non-Muslims, and we should understand why many non-Muslims have got negative opinion about us Muslims and about Islam in general. Okay, same question comes when you deal as a follower of Ahlebait with other Muslims who were born in families who don't follow Ahlebait. Exactly same situation. The family atmosphere teaches the children, as non-Muslim children hear from their parents and relatives negative things about Islam, and the non-Muslims don't read enough about Islam, and non-Muslims hear from the media bad things about Islam. So the result comes a person who is non-Muslim who has got negative opinion about Islam. Exactly the same among those Muslims who don't follow Ahlul Bayt, those who be born in non-Shia atmosphere. They kept on hearing different things about Shia Islam. Most of what they hear is wrong or allegations, but after all, they were hearing bad things. If they don't read, so the result will be the same. We here would like to request non-Muslims to read little bit about Islam before judging Islam. And we want in the same way to request non-Shia Muslims to read little bit about Shia Islam and about Ahlul Bayt before judging Shia against judging against Shia Islam. The logic is same. It is logically wrong for anyone who respects his brain, anyone who respects his reason, to judge without enough knowledge. As non-Muslims who judge against Islam without enough knowledge, same non-Shia Muslims who judge against Shia Islam without enough knowledge are doing the same mistake. The non-Muslim who speaks against Islam thinking that he knows enough. Why? Because he has heard or he has seen websites against Islam. No, that is not the source of the neutral knowledge. You need a knowledge which is neutral, unbiased, knowledge from a source which does not have prejudgment against Islam. Same also, some of our non-Shia Muslim brothers and sisters, they have heard or they have seen websites against Shias, and they kept on believing what they have heard. This is also unfair. The Muslim who objects on the non-Muslims judging against Islam without knowing enough about Islam should stand against the judgment of no or non-Shia Muslims against Shia Islam without enough knowledge. We tell people, think, read, compare, then take your own decision by yourself. We don't tell people to be our friends. No, of course, we are friendly with everyone. Our heart is open for every human being who does not have enmity against Allah and the Prophet and Ahlebait. But we say, know us before accusing us. Read something before accusing us. We, as Muslims, we follow the right religion from the Creator, God, Allah. And we, as Shia Muslims, follow the real Islam of the Prophet and his holy progeny, Ahlebait. It is not just a claim. We present evidence, and our evidence is so strong that we put it in front of anyone and we ask them to counter it. We have got the evidence which can never be countered. Yes, we are following the evidence and the truth which can never be countered by anyone. I want to mention a saying from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, in lam yaghlib
Can I get you to ask that mine, or you want me to ask?
فلسنا على الحق.
Okay,
If
no problem.
our
Thank you.
ignorant or layman could not defeat the learned from our opponents, then we are not on the truth. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Sayyidina, I just had a call. The caller would like to know that what we see, particularly in the Middle East, is continued suffering all the time, and he wants to know when the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be showered upon those suffering, particularly in the Middle East.
What is going on in the Middle East is a disaster, no doubt. When people are witnessing an ongoing massacre in which thousands and thousands of innocent children, women, elders, disabled are killed, and the international community is doing nothing. On the contrary, some so-called Western countries are supporting the massacre. Yes, they are sending weapons to the aggressors who are killing the innocents. So we are not witnessing something easy. No, it is a massacre. It is a disaster. Your question, when the mercy of Allah will come? The mercy of Allah will definitely come. Our tolerance is limited because our limited knowledge. Allah will definitely, because Allah has promised, إِنَّا لَنَنْصُرُ رُسُلَنَا وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Allah promised that we will definitely support our messengers and the believers في الحياة الدنيا ويوم يقوم الأشهاد, in this world and in the hereafter. We don't have exact days or dates, but we are sure that Allah, who promised us in Quran, إِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَبِالْمِرْصَادِ, Allah said, your Lord is watching. Allah will never let the wrong to go safe. No, wrong will not bring but punishment from God. When the punishment will come, Allah knows. But keep in mind that the human beings have suffered in the past many similar situations. Many massacres took place in many countries. Even in our recent years, did you hear what happened in some African countries before few decades? How many tens of thousands of innocents were being massacred? Wrong is doing wrong. And people who follow Allah are always suffering. But Allah never leaves His servants unprotected. Allah gives time, but never forget. Inna Allah yumhil wa la yuhmil. Allah gives time, but Allah never ignores. Be sure that the oppressors will face the result of their oppression. And the innocent civilians, people who did not have any fault, any sin, who suffered, Allah will definitely compensate them. We believe in Allah and we say, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, and we are sure that Allah will support the innocents sooner or later. Yes.
If a couple finds out that the wife was still in nikah of or with someone else, and neither of them knew about this at the time of marriage, and they also have children, what is the status of such marriage?
Okay. Man and woman got married, thinking that the woman was free. Then, after their marriage, they discovered that the woman is still in the bond of marriage of her previous husband. For example, the divorce was invalid for any valid reason. So if she thought that she was divorced, and then she discovered later on, after marrying someone else, that she was still not divorced, what should she do? Number one, she must immediately stop dealing with the second man as a husband. Immediately. Number two, she should get the proper divorce from the first man. Then she should wait the idda period to pass. And then she should refer to the marja of taqleed, because some of the scholars say that no marriage will be permitted. And some of them say, since she was ignorant about the rule, she can marry the second man. So she should refer to her marja of taqleed. But to start with, immediately, she should know that the second man is not her husband. She must observe hijab. About the children, they have children. Children are legitimate. No one can say that children are illegitimate. No. Children are legitimate children. But what happened was misunderstanding. We call it what al-shubha. Means the relationship took place under misunderstanding. So there's no problem for the children. The only thing that she should stop dealing with the second man as a husband till she gets a proper talaq, divorce from the first, and go through the idda period, which is around 3 months, and then refer to the marja of taqleed for the future plan.
And this
Yes,
period of idda, before, depending on her marriage, if she is allowed to remarry the second husband, do they, because they were obviously, let's assume, living under the same roof, is there some stipulation because they're not married and she has to observe hijab that they cannot live in the same house?
Of course. I repeat, as soon as she discovers that the marriage, the second one, is invalid because the first marriage is still valid. I mean, the divorce was not proper. As soon as she knows that the second marriage is invalid, she immediately needs to observe hijab, because this second man is not really her husband. And during the waiting period, she has to observe hijab from him till she passes the idda, and then refers to the marja of taqleed and see what he guides them to do.
Sure. No, sorry, sir. My question was specifically to do with them still. Would they be allowed to, under those circumstances, still stay in the same house, or
with
not?
hijab? With hijab, if she can manage staying with full hijab, but they are not husband and wife.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I've just lost my question. 1 second, please. There was a question on... here we go. I'm going to write my will. I have a daughter and son. Can I divide my wealth equally amongst my children after my death? Are the rules of inheritance a fallback position if there is no will? Or do we have to write our wills according to the Islamic rulings on division of property?
Writing the will in Islam is recommended, highly recommended. Sometimes it becomes obligatory to write the will when there are rights of people on you. And when you die, you should not leave any right for others on you, because that can be causing punishment for you. So when there are rights of people on you or rights on people for you, you should write, because your right after your death will be the right of your children, and your liabilities for people should not remain unpaid. That's why writing the will, stating all the rights which you have on people or people have on you, and your debts. Sometimes we have, God forbid, someone who did not perform salah in certain period of his life. He should mention that salah, say for 1 month or 2 months or more or less, must be performed on my behalf. Of course, it is much better that he should do it in his own life. But I say that writing a will or making a will, because will in Islam does not necessarily need to be written. In Islam, will can be verbal. You can tell your family your will if you want. Of course, writing is better. Writing is better. Now, the question, is it permissible to write in your will that your properties or money or whatever you leave should be distributed equally between your son and daughter? The answer, the rules of Islam are unchangeable. In Islam, the right of the son, male, is double the share of the female. And you know that mainly the financial burden is on the male, being brother or husband or father. Always the financial burden is not on the female. He should spend on his sister. He should spend on his mother. He should spend on his wife. He should spend on his daughters. We don't have financial burden on the females, being daughter, being mother, being wife. Financial responsibility is not on her. So the share of the male is 2 times the share of the female. In your case, the share of your son should be 2, share of your daughter should be 1. You can make a will to give up to 1/3 of what you leave to anyone. We call it thulth, 1/3. 1/3 is used for doing good, like salah, siyam, hajj, charity, and so on. But that 1/3 is your own choice to whom you want to give. You will be allowed to write in your will to give 1/3 of what you leave to your daughter. That will be plus her share, because she will get her share, and if you want to give her more, you can give the more from the will of 1/3. Changing the rules of Islam is not possible at all, but making a will to give from the 1/3 to anyone, including your daughter, is permissible.
If someone's monthly expenses include payments and donations to a number of religious and non-religious charities, only a little savings is left at the end of the year, what about khums?
Someone gives charity and nothing or very little is left after that. The answer, whatever charity is given, real charity, not wasting time and wasting money. No, I mean charity which is good charity. That charity, when it is being given, then it is no more your ownership, no more your money. You have already donated that money to charity. You are not responsible of any khums on the money which you have already donated. Yes, please.
Salams, when you die, Salams, what happens when you die? Yeah, when we die, does Imam Ali help us in qabr?
Yes, of course, yes. We have got authentic evidence, the statement of Amir al-Mu'mineen to Harith al-Hamadani, Ya Hara Hamdan, man yamut yarani. O Harith of Hamdan, everyone who dies will see me. من مؤمن أو منافق قبلا. The believer, when he dies, will see me. Imam will give him the good news of the mercy of Allah on the believers. And non-believer, when he dies, will see the Imam, and he will see the result of his deeds. So while we will be dying, we will see. And we have got many hadiths that when a person leaves this life on the bed of death, he will see the Prophet and the infallible Imams, and they will give him the good news of his iman. Or if he was not a mu'min, he will see the result of his wrong faith and wrong deeds. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam will help the believers on the death, and also the Ahlebait will help the Mu'mineen after death. Yes, please.
Okay, please tell Tashahhud according to Fiqh Ja'fari. My Sunni friend says it's recommended to say At-Tahiyyatu lillahi was-salawatu wat-tayyibatu.
Okay. You know, the Prophet of Islam performed Salah for all the years when he was with the Muslims. So he was performing every day and night the Salat. And Muslims were seeing him and listening to his Salah. Yet we have got different narrations of Salah. We have taken the authentic narrations from those who were with him, Ahlul Bayt, living with him, his own progeny. You have taken it from Abu Huraira or XYZ people. After all, they cannot be more authentic than Ahlul Bayt. So what you mentioned at Tahiyyat, this is recommended, not obligatory. The obligatory tashahhud is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. التحيات is recommended, not obligatory. Yes, please.
Can you please describe briefly about qada and qadar?
Qada and qadar. Something happens out of our control, an accident. Anything happens without our control, not because of our will. That is qada and qadar. We say qaddar Allahu wa ma sha'a fa'al. That is qada and qadar. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destined without our involvement. We have to be patient and to tolerate and to do sabr and accept whatever comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
If my husband does not divorce me and we have been separated for 6
1 minute. I would like to add something to the reply of the previous question. No one can claim that he did any mistake or sin because of qada and qadar. If someone did wrong to his brother or mother or father or to anyone, and he wants to justify his wrong, can he say that whatever I did was qada and qadar? No. No. Qada and qadar does not involve what we do, what we opt to, what we decide to do. Qada and qadar, say an accident, earthquake, anything which is out of our control, not any act which we ourselves decided to do. Yes, please.
If my husband does not divorce me and we have been separated for 6 years, can I remain separated as I don't want a divorce and remarry? What is Islam's view on separation? Can I remain separated? There is no chance of reconciliation either.
You see, to remain separated is not haram. But if you want, the best solution is reconciliation and living together. Again, patching up is the best. Allah in Quran says, وَالصُّلْحُ خَيْرٌ وَالصُّلْحُ خَيْرٌ. Reconciliation is better. But if you opt to remain separated without divorce, it is permissible. But I say better than that is reconciliation. Yes, please.
Sayyidina, can you just explain to us why some couples will remain married whilst there is no chance or they're not looking to reconcile? Maybe
it is because of some social reasons. Some couples, they don't want to be known as divorcees. The divorcee, the title itself is not good title. Of course, divorce itself is not good. In Islam also, أبغض الحلال إلى الله الطلاق. The most unliked, disliked act in Islam, which is not haram, but disliked, is talaq. So some people don't want this title of talaq. They remain separated. We say that we have to try our best to reconcile and patch up as much as possible.
Okay, thank you. Could you tell us what the difference is between the Sunni and Shi'i adhan and how it came about?
Adhan?
Adhan, yes.
Adhan?
Yes.
Adhan, from the time of the Prophet, came from Allah on the Prophet. We follow the same adhan of the Prophet, which includes Hayya ala khair al-amal. Hayya ala khair al-amal is the adhan of the Prophet. Even in Sunni books, you find many narrations that the time of the Prophet, the azan of the Muslims, of the Prophet also, was with Hayya ala khair al-amal. Even after the Prophet, during the government of Abu Bakr, adhan was with Hayya ala khair al-amal. In the time of the government of Umar ibn al-Khattab, he removed Hayya ala khair al-amal on his own opinion, and he added on the adhan of Salat al-Fajr a statement which is never said in the time of the Prophet, as-salatu khayrun min an-nawm. This statement did not, was never being said by the Prophet or the Muslims in the time of the Prophet. This was added in the adhan during the government of Umar. This salatu khayrun min an-nawm is called al-tathweeb. Even Abdullah bin Umar, son of Umar bin Khattab, he himself objected on it. And he said this is being added by people on the adhan, not in the real adhan. So Shia adhan is according to the Prophet of Islam, peace and blessing be upon him and his holy progeny. Now you tell me that, oh, you say Ashhadu anna Aliyan Amirul Mu'mineen or Aliyun Waliyullah. Yes, that is a fact stated by the Prophet himself and also in Quran. Allah in Quran said, إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. We are witnessing, we are giving witness that after the Prophet, our guide, our Imam, our Mawla is the same person who was being ordered as a Mawla for us. The Prophet said, for whomsoever I am the Mawla, the leader, the master, Ali is his Mawla. So we are confirming our allegiance to the divine leadership after the Prophet of Islam. This is the Shia adhan, which is exactly what the Prophet did and ordered. Yes, please.
In Wajib Salah, when saying Allahu Akbar, must we have to raise our hands up to our ears, or even raising our hands slightly is sufficient?
In Takbiratul Ihram, right?
I'm assuming so,
or
yes.
Anyway,
Or
you know,
anyway,
when we say Allahu Akbar, it is recommended, not obligatory, to raise our both hands near our ears or near our neck, either ears or neck. That is recommended, not obligatory. It is recommended. Yes, please.
Should women read the Maghrib and Isha and Fajr namaz louder than Dhuhr and Asr namaz?
Yes, women are not obliged. Man is obliged. Man must recite Salat al-Maghrib and Isha and morning with clear voice, while women is not obliged. It is not obligatory on her to do so. But if she is at home and no non-mahram can hear her voice and she wants to recite the Alhamd and Surah with clear voice, she is allowed in these three prayers: morning, Maghrib, Isha. In Dhuhr and Asr, neither man nor women, are allowed to recite Alhamd and Surah with clear voice, but they have to recite it whispering. Means ikhfat. Ikhfat means without the clear voice. Yes, please.
And just a follow-up question. If, for example, the husband is praying Salat, let's say Fajr, and his wife is not praying but sleeping, I guess this is a bit of a difficult question to answer, but of course Fajr is wajib for the man to recite loudly, but if he is concerned about waking up his wife who's sleeping, can he whisper or not? Even if it's not whisper, can it be, I don't know, a raised voice but not too loud, if that makes any sense?
You know what is wajib in Salat al-Fajr and Maghrib and Isha is not to pray loudly, but to pray with clear voice. We don't need to speak loudly, no. Only to recite the Alhamd and Surah with a clear voice. That clear voice does not mean loud, no. Clear voice. This much is enough.
Okay.
But if he says that I want to recite my Fajr whispering because my wife is asleep, no, you cannot whisper in Salat al-Fajr. Salat al-Fajr, Salatun Jahriyah, means you have to recite in a clear voice. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. What does Islam say about hitting one's wife? And if the husband is hitting the wife, can she ask for divorce?
Hitting.
Yes, hitting.
I want to confirm. Is it hitting?
That's what it says, yes.
The believer is not supposed to hit an animal. We are not supposed to hit an animal. How to hit your own wife? I don't know. How can a person who respects himself, how can such person hit his wife? Your wife? In Quran, وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلِلرِّجَالِ عَلَيْهِنَّ دَرَجَةٌ. Their rights are like their duties. But man has got degree on them. Hitting is something out of question in our life. As far as the teachings of Ahlebait, teaching of the Prophet of Islam, peace and blessing be upon him and his progeny, no question of hitting even animal in our life. how to hit your wife, that is something we have got in the hadith, that no noble person can hit his wife. And we have got also another narration that some people who hit their wives, they are more entitled to be hit. وهو أولى منها بالضرب. He is hitting his wife, but he is more entitled to be hit. So the believer who wants to follow Ahlebait should never even think about hitting his wife at all. But some people might do that. Is she allowed to ask for divorce? The answer, if the husband does wrong to his wife, she has got right to refer herself or the situation to the Islamic authority, the marja of taqleed. And the marja of taqleed will order him to fulfill all his duties towards his wife, including respecting her, looking after her, not hitting her at all, even not giving her any bad word, not hurting her feelings. If the husband obeys, then it is okay. If he does not obey, then the marja of taqleed will tell him, as you are not giving her right, then you should give her a divorce. If the husband insists on not giving her rights and insists on rejecting the idea of divorce, then third step, the marja of taqleed, means the Islamic authority himself, he will give divorce and free this wife from such person who does not look after his wife properly.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Syed. Now, unfortunately, we've come to the end of tonight's show. I'd like to thank all of our viewers for tuning in and for the questions they sent in. Apologies, we weren't able to get to all of your questions. Inshallah, we'll see you again soon next time.